Saturday was a lot of fun. 1,169 in attendance. Awesome home environment. That's the Cats' best attended game so far this year. So, could you talk a little bit as we get started here? Address that game environment, how the guys reacted to it, and the importance of for a team like this with the goals that they have to be able to execute when the bright lights are on.
Yeah, I thought it was a great crowd. Best one I can remember since I've been here. It felt like everyone was into it. I thought Billy Hill, who played here, did an awesome job with they were the game sponsor and got a bunch of kids in the seats, and I thought that was a huge component of it. Appreciate that from him, one of the best players that we've had on the men's side, so kind of cool there. And then I thought, for us, knowing it's Tech, knowing, we'd had some success, that was the most pressure I think we've had on us, again, since I've been here, as far as you're supposed to win, you're playing a rival, a lot at stake. We had received votes in the poll. Like, there's all these things, and usually when all those things happen, you're a little worried about how they'll come out or how they'll respond. And I thought that was as most locked in as we've been all year. I thought we were dialed in, competed, wanted to win, followed all the game plan stuff offensively and defensively. And, I didn't even think we played that well for most of it. And then at the end, we, kind of ran away with it. But I think we have a lot more left. But I was really happy with how we handled all the little stuff behind the scenes.
It was really, a wire-to-wire win in all accounts of whatever the saying means. But there were, within that wire-to-wire win, there were the ups and downs, and it was almost like a mini roller coaster within that. And they cut the lead down to single digits at multiple points, and you felt like there was some momentum. What do you attribute that to, those ups and downs?
Yeah, I think they're talented. They're young, but their players are still very, very good. And so I thought, they made those individual really good plays. And our thought was if we could keep it being the Tech individuals, we would probably win. And if it became the Tech team, we would be in trouble. And I thought we did a good job of limiting. They only had 5 assists on the game. Most of what they did that was really good was one guy making a play. And that's what we wanted to do against them. And it's what we want to do against most teams, but especially against them. They're so good at moving it and sharing it. And once they do that, then they're really, really hard to guard. If you can keep them one-on-one, you have a chance. And so I think they did make those plays. And I actually thought they had a few guys play really well, but we never let their team get going. And then on the flip side, it's really hard to win basketball games by a ton. And I don't know if our kids even fully appreciate that, because in the last year and a half, we've had so many big wins. It's hard. It doesn't happen very often. Tech played Missouri St. Louis, who's could be one in our region, took them to the wire. They beat Ferris. It's just really, really, really hard to win and win big.
So a big part of that, though, Max Bjorklund picked up right where he left off. He comes back, leads the team in scoring, getting to the free throw line. He was also named, announced this week, to the Pevo Francis Award watch list. So we talked a lot about him at the start of this season and the things that he was doing. But what does his return now and that kind of recognition that he's garnering mean for this team?
Yeah, I think, he's done so many impressive things in his career. I thought that was up there with the impressive things. His ankle was not good. His ankle was, if he was a younger guy, he might have not played, but he knows it's his last year, last chance, to play Tech at home, probably. And I thought he took full advantage of the opportunity. When you haven't practiced in a while, it's always a little dicey. And I thought he missed some shots that he would make more times than not. But his toughness, his leadership, and just having him out there, I thought changed our team. And we got back to scoring 90. I think a big part of that is, you add in him, not only what he does with his 20, but what he does for everyone else. And, he's really good. And, it makes everyone better.
Dylan was putting on a show, too. Lots of awesome dunks, really efficient scoring, eating everything on the glass. Yeah. He's a guy who we've talked about and who you said has the potential to perhaps become a player of the year in this league one day. And he feels like he's coming into his own before our eyes. What kind of growth has he shown you this year?
Yeah, I think the him Max Wise Road Freshman of the Year race is really exciting. I'm glad I don't have to vote on that. I can't vote for either of them, so I'll let other people decide. No, he's been unbelievable. That was the first time I think he's played like he's capable of playing every night. And even then, we only got him 10 shots. He went 8 of 10. I think he's going to keep getting better. I think he's just scratching the surface of what he can become. One thing with him that's, I think, a little interesting is we always had thought of Dylan as a four-man, a big guy. And his guard skills has always been the one thing that I thought was special about him. And I was wondering when that would kind of catch up to his body and adjusting to the level and all that. And the last few games, I feel like he's starting to really play more like a guard than just a big guy. Now he can still get 18 rebounds, block shots, dunk, all that. But now his ball handling, we early in the year were playing him at the center some. Now it's like we have that 4-guard lineup out there, but one of them is a 6'6" freak. So, it's kind of fun. And there were definitely some moments I'm like, oh, okay, Dylan. All right. And really proud of him, really happy for him. And again, I'm hoping this is just a normal progression and you see a lot more games like that. And that was just one of many, even this year, I think he has a chance.
And that helps the guys down low, obviously, taking some of the attention away from them. One of them being Sam. Talk about him coming in and kind of looking for the right analogy, but taking the rust off, and he did it, I thought, rather quickly. Looked really efficient down in the post, even when he had to get his own boards a few times. What did you think from his performance?
Yeah, Sam's been awesome. He played a ton as a freshman, and then he was starting last year, got hurt, missed the whole stretch run, comes back, starting the first game, gets hurt, missed the whole start of the season. He's one of those guys, like, you just feel bad because it's just kind of random freak injuries. And we know how good he is when he's healthy. And having him, and I always try to look at some positives of injuries because there's nothing else you can do. The nice thing with Sam getting hurt was it allowed Privet to play more and start, and now we kind of have two of them that I think are both starting level centers. And in a lot of ways, and Ben Wolf, who hasn't played yet a ton, is our third string center, and he's been a 4-year starter for us, or a 3-year starter for us. So all of a sudden it felt like we had no starting centers early in the year, and now we have 3 guys that I trust completely. And I thought Sam, the beauty of Sam Schultz is he's very different than Sam Privet, and he's a great passer. He's a little more of a power guy. He's a little more of an inside guy, where Privet's a little more of a stretch and a shooter. And I think those two as complement each other really, really well. And that was really nice to have in the game, was being able to just keep subbing and bringing in waves at the big guy spot, which is something we haven't had before really this game, it felt like.
Yeah, not that they're going to be on the court at the same time a lot, but we might have to make it happen for a little Sam squared.
Yeah, I like
T-shirt
it.
action.
I like it, like Sam and Max, and we'll get Max down from the radio booth, and we'll have 3 Maxes and 2 Sams out there. I won't know how to coach, but it'll be fun. Yeah.
I do still have all my eligibility.
All right. Okay.
Let's make it happen.
You were throwing some good passes the other day.
But in the meantime, we do have Grand Valley State and Davenport coming up to the Berry Event Center. We get to sleep in our own beds for a change. So, your thoughts on this week's matchups, Coach?
Yeah. I mean, historically, this is I think the toughest weekend. If you go back to when I first got here, these two teams were, always up top in the top of the league. And this year, Davenport's struggling a little bit, and even Grand Valley, for Grand Valley standards, is not having as good a season as they've had at other points in other sports. But the thing with Grand Valley is all the guys on their team still chose Grand Valley over every D2 school. So every kid on their team is still the blue chip recruit, the highly touted kid, the transfer that every D2 wanted that went there. So the talent is certainly there. And I actually think they're a new coach, obviously, and in his first year, I love what they're doing. They're offensively, they're really hard to guard. Defensively, they play really hard. They play 11 different guys. They might lack that marquee player, but they don't lack the depth or the talent or the coaching. I think they're probably one of those teams that is better than their record says they are, and concerned about them. And then Davenport, last time we played them, beat us by 147 or whatever it was in the conference championship game, and their starting point guard is an Iowa State transfer that is as talented as anyone in the league, and they just went at Parkside, who's in second, and beat Parkside by 20 at their place. So that's certainly not something we're going to look past. So in a lot of ways, it feels a little bit like last week where, you want to win, you're at home. If you keep playing as well as we are, we have a decent chance of winning. But we also know these two teams aren't coming in here to to lose. I mean, and they're both going to be very tough, very good, and very athletic, and we're just going to have to do what we do, hopefully better than they do what they do.